Just when you think things can't get any weirder, any dirtier with teams Hillary, Obama, and their cronies like James Comey and Andrew McCabe at the FBI and their buddy over at the special counsel's office, Robert Mueller, well, they sit you down and say, hold our beer. Okay, this one is so bizarre, I don't even know where to begin, so I'm going to jump right in. Do you remember Omar Mateen, the radical Islamic terrorist who murdered 50 people at the gay nightclub Pulse in Orlando, Florida? Do you remember that his dad, Sadiq Mateen, was sitting behind Hillary Clinton at a rally, one of Hillary's rallies during the campaign, in prime seating, right in camera shot? And if you know anything about political rallies during a presidential campaign, or even after, now that Donald Trump is president, when he does a rally, the seats directly behind the candidate, the ones that are on national television, those are reserved for high-money donors, people very, very close to the campaign, Congress people, senators, politicians, cabinet secretaries, their families, people that mean something to the administration, the president, or the then presidential candidate. You've got to be somebody to the campaign to get one of those prime seats in that sort of a little triangle that's framed by the camera. You don't get in there by chance. You're very close to the candidate. The Secret Service has to vet you. I know this because I was always on the other side. I was facing the candidate in seating just as close as media. I had to submit my name, my social security number, some other things so the Secret Service could vet me. When I got there, I would typically get some kind of pass, some kind of bracelet that would get me in and out of that VIP area. It's not first come, first served seating, and the seating behind the candidate for the guests, for non-media, is even more restricted because the candidate's back is to you. Omar Mateen's father, this terrorist who killed 50 Americans at the Pulse nightclub, well, his father, Sadiq Mateen, was in that crowd. That was weird enough. But wait, there's more. It turns out that from 2005 to 2016, Omar Mateen's dad, a guy with his own ties to Islamic terror, a guy who's now under criminal investigation, was on the FBI's payroll. Yeah, you heard me correctly. From 2005 to 2016, Sadiq Mateen, the father of murderous Islamic terrorist Omar Mateen, the guy who carried out the most fatal mass shooting in U.S. history before Stephen Paddock in Las Vegas, the most deadly radical Islamic terror mass shooting in U.S. history, and he targeted gay Americans. His dad was on the FBI payroll. And there's a story here from News 6 Orlando. And let me read this to you. And this all came out because Noor Salman, Omar Mateen's wife, a woman who the FBI lost right after the shooting, filed a motion for a mistrial. Her attorney, let me read this to you. Attorneys for Noor Salman called for a mistrial after they say new details from prosecutors reveal that Pulse gunman Omar Mateen's father was an FBI source and is currently under a criminal investigation. Now, why that would entitle her to a mistrial is beyond me. I truly feel she helped her husband carry out this attack and she tried to flee the country. According to a motion filed by the defense, prosecutors sent an email on Saturday that stated Sadiq Mateen was a CI, a confidential informant for the FBI from 2005 through June 2016. Now, that's important because the Pulse nightclub attack happened on June 12th, 2016. So while his son was killing gay Americans, the dad was on the FBI's payroll. This is beyond... You know, I always tell you, well, I've been in law enforcement, working alongside or covering law enforcement for 25 years, and I always say, I've never heard anything this bad. Well, here I go again. You know, just when I think they can't top it, just when I think they can't surprise me anymore, they top it, and, they top it and they surprise me. They top it and they surprise me. Salman's attorneys claim the late disclosure of the information prevented them from exploring whether or not Sadiq Mateen knew of his son's plans to attack the nightclub on June 12th, 2016, but that wouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. It has nothing at all to do with the wife being under investigation. Now, this is just incredible. The government email to Salman's attorneys also states that in 2012, an anonymous tip indicated that Sadiq Mateen was seeking to raise $50,000 to $100,000 via a donation drive to contribute toward an attack against the government of Pakistan. There's all kinds of weirdness with this guy. He was trying to send money to Turkey. He was trying to send money to Afghanistan before the attack. His son looked into travel to those countries. So was his dad trying to help his son plan the attack and get out of the U.S.? The story doesn't get, it gets so bad because Sadiq Mateen didn't sit at the Hillary rally before, if you recall the timeline. I remember I always tell you in investigations, timelines are everything. He didn't sit in VIP preferred seating behind Hillary. And I wish I could stress to you how difficult it is to get one of those seats. I would have the staffers of significant U.S. Congress people call me and say, hey, do you know anybody inside the Trump campaign? We really want those seats. We call the campaign. They don't have any. We're hoping you know somebody. You could trade a favor with them. We'll owe you a favor. And I would often have to call them back and say, no. And it's pretty common. They would say, hey, look, we'll give you an interview or we'll give you some exclusive. If you could help our staffer out, the congressman's mom wants one of those seats. And typically those seats are all taken up. Those seats are VIP of VIP preferred seating. It is impossible. It is absolutely impossible that Hillary's campaign team did not know Sadiq Mateen was in those seats, because whomever organized that rally 2 months after the Pulse nightclub attack. Now, this guy was on the FBI payroll. His son murders all of these people at a gay nightclub on June 12, 2016. And then 2 months later, I believe it was in August, he sat at that rally behind Hillary Clinton. His name had to be submitted to senior members of her campaign team and to the United States Secret Service under the Obama administration. It's weird. Now, I hate conspiracy theories, but it is very, very weird that the Muslim terror sympathetic father of a guy who just carried out, at the time, the deadliest Muslim terror attack on U.S. soil since 9/11, a guy who was under criminal investigation after his 11-year tenure working as an FBI CI ended in disgrace. The CIA approved him, the Secret Service approved him to be there, and the Hillary campaign invited him, and everybody's claiming they didn't know who he was. It's either a lie, it's either an absolute lie, or one of the most incompetent moments in American law enforcement history. And I have to think it's a lie. Now, some other information here. So the defense also said that Sadiq's connection with the FBI played a role in a 2013 investigation into Omar Mateen for allegedly making threats against coworkers. It was ratting at his son as well. Mateen's father, quote, Mateen's father played, well, here's the interesting part. He was ratting his son out, but he was also running interference. Quote, Mateen's father played a significant role in the FBI's decision not to seek an indictment from the Justice Department for false statements to the FBI or obstruction of justice against Omar Mateen. This is just, it's really just mind-blowing. And when he was at that rally behind Hillary Clinton, less than 2 months after his son's deadly Islamic terror attack, it was in Kissimmee, Florida. It was in Kissimmee, Florida, which, if you know the area, it's a suburb of Orlando. It was, a short drive, a 30-minute drive from where the attack took place. It was almost a Hillary campaign saying a big F you to America. Oh, you don't like radical Islamic terror? Well, F you, America. I'm sitting the terrorist family behind me. And if you don't like it, too bad, because there's no other explanation. There is no other explanation. There's a lot more to this case. And I'm going to be going much, much deeper into this incredibly interesting story and troubling story today on The Rebel, on my new longer show, Off the Cuff. Well, it's not such a new show anymore, and thanks for watching it. On my longer show, Off the Cuff Declassified. You're going to want to watch it. This is really interesting and troubling stuff. This is really, really important content. I want to bring it to you every day. I've got so many stories like this coming up for you. But please subscribe to our premium service. Help me keep doing it by subscribing to our premium service at www.therebel.media/shows.